Hi, this is Josie, and you've reached my channel Into Light. I'm so glad that you've joined me today. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about what we consider in the spiritual world the holy relationship. Okay? The holy relationship is the special relationship that's transformed. Within the special relationship, our ego leads our thinking, and we meet fear to fear and mask to mask. The holy relationship delivers us so we can meet heart to heart. Now, yes, the holy relationship delivers us. It delivers us on a deeper level. An unholy or special relationship is one where we think each one has something the other needs. So we go into the relationship thinking that we're lacking or our counterpart, our partner, is lacking. Where in spirituality, we're perfect just the way we are, okay? Thus completing one and totally robbing of the other. So you go into a relationship and you want to take what you think you don't have from the other person, and that leaves that other person depleted of love and of attention, that they deserve from you. This type of relationship exists until there's nothing left to rob. So it's not possible for this relationship to be any long term. The holy relationship begins by looking into another's personage and seeing nothing lacking. Acceptance of that other person the way they are. This is the joining of two complete individuals, seeing each other as whole, as the other. This heals both from self-loathing, okay? In a special relationship, we try our very best to hide our weaknesses. Within the holy relationship, it is understood in that we have places that are wounded and yet unhealed. It's acceptance. The actual healing is our purpose, and this connection is the context for our healing through mutual forgiveness. In a holy relationship, we are not seeking in our partner what they can do for us, but we are seeking and finding a true interest in them because they have something to offer us, and when we're interested, we have something to offer them. It's an exchange. Holy relationships don't put the other person on the hot seat or use them to foster the ego's needs. That is bordering on selfishness and narcissism. Instead, we are present to support, to forgive, and to heal each other. We achieve this place not by requesting the universe to transform our partner, but by asking Spirit to change our perception and to use our coming together for God's purposes only. In order to grow spiritually within a holy relationship, we must go through a detoxification of sorts, a purifying, similar to what a recovering addict must do. A partnership utilizes by the Holy Spirit lifts our blocks to love so that it is not denied or suppressed, but brought up to our conscious awareness. That brings us out of our tolerance of another and our inability to love unconditionally. The path to loving purely is carved out with a willingness to allow others to be who they really are. So we go into the relationship, and it takes courage. But courage is part of love. It takes strength to love another person. It takes strength to love each ourselves to know that we are worth going into a relationship where we're going to be simply ourselves, and that's it. Now, animals can really teach us about this. Domestic pets. My cats accept me exactly for how I am. Their love for me is unconditional. They don't know any other way of behaving. So they're spiritual in that way, and they have a lot to teach us. Let's see. Our pain comes into the picture when we will not accept people as they are. So before we go and get into a relationship, before we commit, we really need to spend some time. Take it slow and take some time to get to know one another as friends, to accept one another. Our pain comes into the picture when we don't do this. This creates an ego that is wounded and full of fear. When we divulge ourselves at our deepest core, we can discover just how lovable we really are. When digging deep and truthfully into our true nature, we won't find darkness, but we will find the light within us that is eternal. This is the true nature of the holy relationship, giving up our errors so we can be healed as one. Categories of love do not exist in truth. There is not a section of love between parent and child, between friends or lovers. Love is at the heart of all relationships. Friendships, familial relationships, familia, yes, and partnerships. This is the love of God, never changing with form or with circumstance that may come up. When we are not in a relationship and desire to be, the ego allows us to think that we're in a relationship, all of our emptiness will leave. No. In truth, if we are in a relationship, it actually brings our emptiness to the surface so we can begin to look at it. We come together to learn from each other. That's part of our love for one another. We're teachers. Teacher becomes student. Student becomes teacher. Yes. So our emptiness surfaces. If we're vulnerable in a relationship and trust, then we're ready to be in a relationship. It calls up our expression for compassion, acceptance, forgiveness, and learning. It isn't the absence of people in our lives that cause our emptiness, but rather what we choose to do with the people when they are here with us. Pure love is a resurrection of the heart line. It asks nothing but peace for both involved. When two people come together in God, walls separating the two dissolve. Our loved ones are more than mortals. They are considered perfect under spirit. As we fail in love, we can see in that moment the total truth about our beloved. I'm sorry, I said fail, I meant fall. As we fall in love, we can see in that moment the truth about our beloved. This is not an illusion, this is real. When we choose to love, and I believe that love is a decision that we make. We're born to love. So it's a choice that we make. But when the ego starts its motion to shut love out, and we can do this because the ego becomes fearful, the ego has a saboteur attached to it, the perfection we saw on the spiritual plane becomes projected into the physical. And that's what fear does. Not releasing the truth that spiritual perfection and physical imperfections live simultaneously. We look for physical perfection, which is an illusion. So here comes the delusion of idolizing one another, then becoming disappointed as human nature is revealed. And that's why if trust isn't developed, if acceptance isn't developed, if forgiveness and acceptance isn't developed, that's why a lot of what we hoped and prayed to be long-term relationship ends. Rejecting another because they are simply human has become our phobia, and it's also become our fear. Our partners, just like us, are simply human beings going through the normal processes of growth. This never ends for life itself in a process of learning. It is our willingness and commitment to growth that allows for its inevitability. Love, folks, is everywhere. It's in everything and everybody. It is constantly thriving all around us, yet the inflated ego can knock out the truth of love's presence. Romantic love is not completely fulfilled without friendship. I know personally for myself, and I've done this for so many years in my adulthood, I never start a romantic relationship, a long-term relationship, without becoming friends first. It's so essential. Friendship is love. And we think about how we think about our best friend. We trust them. We're devoted to them. We're loyal to them. We want to help them. We want them to be present for us. It's an exchange. So it can be likened to a flower. The stem is the friendship, and the bloom is the romance. All the nourishment the flower needs to live comes from the stem. The stem, which is friendship, provides trust, comfort, support, and blind faith that true friendship provides. It is not really our job to search out love, but we find all the locked doors barring love from coming forth. When we fully realize just how wonderful we are within ourselves is when love can truly be revealed to us. There's no Mr. or Ms. Right, because there's really no Mr. or Ms. Wrong. There's just a person standing in front of us and the perfect lessons that can be taught or learned from that person. Now, some of us enter relationships because we have so much to learn, and we may make errors in that relationship to ultimately learn our lessons so we can ultimately be in a more healthy relationship as we learn our lessons. Some dark angels come into our lives, and they're meant to teach us these lessons, and they're hard lessons. They're not easy, but they're well worth it. Nothing, including love, is found outside of our minds. How we choose to show up is clearly connected to how others show up for us. The most productive interaction we are capable of does not carry the responsibility of another, but rather stems from our commitment to our focused role within the relationship. So everything starts in our mind. And when we fall in love and when we love a person, we bring it down to live in our hearts. And that's where acceptance, we find vulnerability, we find forgiveness, and we find true love. True love is not reactive, but it is interactive. This is where we unfold love most productively. This is where we can create interest rather than waiting to see whether or not we're interested in another. Love is merely a decision, like I said before. It is not seeing whether the other person is attractive. The miracle is when we support another in being attractive. Yeah. When we love somebody, we bring out the best in them. A huge part of focusing on ourselves is learning how to support another in being the best they can possibly be. That's part of why we love one another. We're looking for that best. We're looking for the highest, the best version of ourselves, and we're looking for that higher vibration. Attractiveness is in the eyes of the beholder. Actually, there are no clear rules whether a person is attractive or unattractive, but there are those people who shine. No doubt, somewhere along the way in our development, these shining stars are told and showed how wonderful and beautiful they are. Love is to people like rain is to a dry landscape. When we choose to love ourselves, when we choose to love other people, we water them like a flower so the flower can grow. And the stem grows in friendship. The past, no matter how we try to dredge it up, and I do the same, I do it too. I'm a human being just like everybody else is, and I do it too, but I have to catch myself. And I've learned that it's not the lack of love from past that requires the healing. It is the love that we are not giving in the present that causes the pain. So the pain from the past, if not healed and going into another relationship, can be detrimental to the new relationship because we're not giving ourselves fully because of fear. But the good news is that every single moment of our lives gives us another opportunity to learn from our past and solidify our future by loving in the present. Whether our parents showered us with love or didn't, we learn from them. They're our first teachers. They're one of our first teachers. Our aunts and uncles, our grandparents, our family, our sisters, our siblings, we learn from that experience. To deny our parents' love now doesn't solve anything. We can't get to the light through endless probing into the darkness. We can go to the dark and sit there for a while, but we don't want to stay there. We've got so much light available to us. That's what brings up our vibration. That's what makes us vulnerable to the love, the gift of love that Spirit has given to all of us. The way to the light is entering into the light, to seep ourselves in the light. The choice to give what we have not received is a viable choice. We assist and support others to follow their highest capacity by simply assisting others. The growth comes by looking at our own lessons, not at others. If we over-focus on someone else's problems, we're missing an opportunity to look at ourselves. When we are in a relationship, we need to focus on our behavior. We put that out, and that's what we're going to get back. You know, I know that I'm a broken record when it comes to that, but I always like to remind people of that. What we put out, what energy we put out, we get it right back. It's just like a boomerang. Only what we do not give is what is lacking in every situation. No one else can give us what we possess ourselves. The miracle of love creates a stage where people innately grow into their highest capability. Isn't that beautiful? It's beautiful to even think about it. Judging or trying to fix another cannot do this. Fully loving another is opening ourselves to understanding the another. Now, if a person is behaving poorly, is hurting you constantly, of course, you need to step away from that relationship for your own survival, for your own happiness, for your own self-love. But if a person is willing to transcend themselves, is willing to change only because they want to do it, only because they've made the decision to do it, then we gladly support them and we gladly love them through the process. Okay? Fully loving another is opening ourselves to understanding another. The tendency is to hold back from another, waiting for them to love us. This keeps us separate. Sometimes when we give love and the other person is going, oh my goodness, do I have the capability of giving this love? And they feel that love from them, from us, then they can turn around and say, hey, yes, I've got that inside of me. And we help them to bring that love out so they can love themselves more and consequently love us. We deserve one another's complete love because we have been born from spirit to love and to be loved. I want to thank you so much for listening to this first part of the holy relationship. I will have the second part very soon. I hope that you got something out of this and a reminder to you that we are all loving beings, every single last one of us. What we do with the love inside of us is what is important. Thank you so much for joining me today and my channel Into Light. And I hope that you will join me soon for another one of our little talks. Thank you so much. Love to all, blessings to all, and I hope all stay cool in this warm weather. Thank you. Josie signing off here, Into Light. Thank you so much. Bye-bye now.